It's hoppity hop time, and of course chocolate is a fermented food, so it's time to make some treats. Before we go to bed, we prepare. I'm going to use what I have, so I haven't really gone out and bought anything. I'm just using all the little bits of the dried fruit and nuts and things that I've got, so I'm trying to show you how we can be creative with very little. I like to use what I have. So we're soaking. So before we go to bed, we soak. Now this is amaranth, which is sort of like an oat. It's a rolled amaranth, and it's a nice gentle grain that's on your tummy. So that's soaking in some coconut kefir, which has been covered, and we'll soak that overnight. All of these are going to be soaked overnight. I'm on my way to bed. So this is buckwheat, and again that's soaking in some coconut kefir. Then we have all our little nuts that I've pulled out. The walnuts, they're soaking in some turmeric, lemon myrtle, and tamarind. So that will soak. The idea of the soaking is to make it more digestible for us, because that's what we're doing. We're making things friendly for our gut. The lovely selenium-rich Brazil nuts. These are the ones that are so good just to have, say, 2 a day for anybody with thyroid problem. And these are soaking in the big kvass. So they'll be pretty as well. They'll all be pink. These are great. What you do once you soak them, you give them a good rinse. And if you want to keep them, like store them for a while, you'll need to dehydrate them to dry them. But that's totally unnecessary when you're doing little quantities like this, and we're going to prepare it straight away into treats. But if you wanted to store it long term, that's talking about. But usually the best idea is just to soak them enough for the week, and they'll certainly keep in the fridge. These are really great as a parmesan replacement. And you can just grate them and put them on top of your salads. We have tiger nuts, which aren't a nut at all, and they're very rich in prebiotics. And prebiotics are the fuel for our probiotics, for the rich fermented foods, which are rich in the probiotic. They need the prebiotic to be their fuel. So the fibre is the fuel for the body for the probiotics. So very important things like asparagus, that's a great prebiotic. Beans and green bananas are all in the rage at the moment, but be very careful. Don't go out and munch on a green banana, because that would be very hard if you're having digestion problems to start with. The way that we eat it is in like a flour, and we use it, and I'll use quite a bit of it into my treats, because I make my own green banana flour. So what I do is I just pop down my green bananas, skin them, dry them in a dehydrator, and blitz them. You can sift it to get out in little lumpy bits, but I like to leave the little lumpy bits because they're like little nuts in your treats. But this is really prebiotic fuel, so it's good that you can scoop it into any of your raw food. You can cook with it, but you will kill that good prebiotic feature of it by baking with it. But still, it's perfectly okay to bake with. I do all my baking with a mixture of that and tiger nuts. So if your body can't tolerate bananas, substitute it with prebiotic rich tiger nuts, and that's your little tiger nut bean. You can even buy the tiger nut flour. I actually soak these, and then I give them a good rinse and dry them, and same with the green banana, and then blitz them and make it into a flour. But you can, at the stores, you can purchase tiger nut flour. So it's a nice calming flour and full of prebiotics. So it's a very good fuel, as I said, for the probiotics. So we have walnuts soaking. We have just a few little cashews soaking. Now I've only just put this on there, and they're already softening up really nicely. So by in the morning they'll be lovely and soft. I've got some seeds, a little mixture of seeds. And again, that they are soaking away. Now, what's very important is to soak all our dried fruit, because dried fruit is highly concentrated in sugars, and that's what we want to really cut down on, is the sugars. So these are all soaking in water kefir, which I find a beautiful soaker for dried fruits. But you can certainly use more water if you don't have any of the probiotic drinks, you know, the fermented drinks. I love to use my tamarind and lemon myrtle and turmeric. It just gives it that little bit of extra flavour, which is really lovely. But these will, you can see the dates have already softened up, and I've had these in here for about 20 minutes. So by the morning they'll be lovely and soft, and they will have reduced a lot of that concentrated sugar. And the liquid itself, you can actually use that as like a syrup. So it's good for a sweetener. My coconut, there's no really big need to soak this, but I'm soaking it for pretty colour, and that's soaked in the beet kvass, which you can see makes a beautiful colouring. And you can use that for like your treats. You'll find that I use a lot of my dehydrated brines, because I have a lot of brines and I'm making them a lot for all our sharing of our workshops, and there is only 2 tummies to fill. So what I do is I actually dehydrate exactly the same as what I was just talking about, and just blitz them, and that's how I get all these little pretty colours, you know, and use them for flavourings, and as well as that for colouring. Now our chia or chia, however you pronounce it, and you wish to pronounce it, that's very high in fibre, and it's very good to add to your diet, except that when it's like that seed, it's very hard to digest. So make it into a gel. So get about 1/4 cup of seeds and just say about 2 cups of liquid. Again, you can use one of the tonics, or you can just use water, good clean water, not tap water, and give it a really good shake, and it'll thicken very quickly. Now this is really good fuel for you, not just to add to our treats. If you're feeling really hungry, you can have a scoop of this, because it's very filling. But apart from being filling, it's very good. You can make really quick little treats with it. I mean, you can just mash up an avocado and put in a little bit of cacao powder and put that in, and you've got nice chocolate mousse. So there's lots of things that you can do with that. So do make up your gel, because that's sort of like, and that will keep in your fridge for a couple of weeks. But what I do is I just do little quantities and do it each week with my food prep day. I always check to see where I am at with that. If it needs topping up, I just make another bottle. So I'll see you in the morning, and everything will be all ready, and we'll put it together. We'll fill these little babies all up, and we'll make some Easter treats.